How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You got time for an interview?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you okay if I live stream and record it?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe if we face this way, the sun won't be in your eyes. I appreciate you stopping. Did you just finish a run or a hike or something?
Run. Well, kind of like in between.
Okay. That's recording. Oh, awesome. So, my name's Anthony. What's your first name?
Joanna.
Hi. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
I have a timer here too. I usually try to keep it for 5 minutes.
Sweet.
Yeah, grab it here. Okay. What I do, Joanna, is I talk to people about a belief that they have in their head, something that they think is true, or possibly true.
Yeah.
And I'll ask questions to examine the way that you got to that belief. How did you conclude that it was actually true in the first place? And I'll just ask questions, and you might have a better understanding of what it is you believe and why. Some topics could be karma, superstitions. I think prayer works. Magic. If you've ever seen a ghost. We could talk about politics.
No thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
I was just telling people I just need a break from that. Okay, so what I found though is that the belief that tends to inform who you are on a fairly regular basis, those tend to be the interesting ones. And is it Joann? Okay. All right. So, with all that preamble out of the way, is there a particular belief that you've always wondered about? Like, why do I have it? Why do I think it's true?
I mean, I guess just how I was raised, just believing in God. I mean, I still do. And it's just always interesting because you never really know for sure. It's all faith-based, you know?
You believe in a God. You said that you were raised to believe it, and it's faith-based.
Correct.
Well, we just cut right to the chase there. Okay. Have you given this belief a lot of thought? Because rarely does a person just lay it all out like you just did.
Yeah, I actually was kind of thinking about it while I was out here, and that's why I like to come out here, because, I don't know, I guess it's just a way to really open up your mind, and that's kind of why I'm by myself as well. I think conversation is great with other people, but then also it's really important to reflect. But,
Sure.
yeah, I kind of battle with this on and off as far as my beliefs, because I am gay, so coming from a family that is strongly Christian, it was a huge battle because I was always raised that that's not okay. I still love you, but it's not okay. So I kind of had to find my own faith and that God accepts me regardless. So that's why I've been thinking about it lately.
Sure.
But it's been a lot better than what it used to be. I used to deny myself completely in order to have my faith in God, and I just kind of thought it was either one way or the other, but I've really come to find that it can be joined together.
Okay. So when I have these talks, I'm not so much concerned about the doctrine or what you believe or the church's position on sensitive topics.
Yeah.
What I really like to understand is how you concluded that the God exists.
How I concluded that?
Yeah. And maybe before we even get into that,
Yeah.
I'd like to get a sense of how certain you are that the God exists on a scale from 0 to 100, where 100% would be there's no question in my mind, I have no doubt, it's all confidence, I'm absolutely certain that it's true. And 0% would be all I have is questions. I have doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know that this thing's true at all.
Yeah. I'd like to say 100. To be honest, I would be in the 90s, but I don't know what else this life is for unless God is real. Like, what are relationships about? What is nature about? Like, who created nature? And, like, the only thing that makes sense to me is that God created it all, and God created me. So I would say, you know, of course we all have our questions. We're human. I personally don't believe he gives us all the answers. But I definitely believe he does exist, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying that none of this would make sense if the God didn't exist?
To me, yes.
to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are there people
Hmm.
who don't believe in any gods that can look at all this and make sense from it?
Yes, I mean, I've had conversations with people that,
Do you know some people like that?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for you,
Hmm.
okay, correct me if I'm wrong here,
Mhm.
but I want to rephrase what I think you just said.
Yeah.
For you, Joanna, in order for you to make sense of all this, you have to have the God belief.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What do you, is there another way you can rephrase it?
Okay. Let me try another.
Hmm.
You can correct me if I'm off. Are you saying that in order for me to be 90% confident that God exists, I would need to have an explanation of how all this stuff makes sense? Maybe that's even murky. Why don't you help me out? Here's the thing that I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
If there are people that can make sense of these things in life
Yeah.
and not have to have a God belief to make it happen,
Hmm.
why do you think you need to have a God belief?
Right, right. It's just not enough to just say that the world disappeared. It's not enough for me. I need something that's way bigger than myself to explain all that. I think also too, people believe different things. It is a huge being how you're raised is a huge um, like persuading side of either perspective or spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. But I think your journey through life brings you closer to whatever you believe in as well. And like I said before, what I've struggled with in my life has brought me closer to God. And I do believe in prayer. And I just have to continue to have the faith-based relationship with Him. I don't think it's about religion. I don't think there's certain steps of what you have to do to get to heaven or vice versa. But I don't want to get too far into that. But
Yeah.
as far as what you asked me, that's would be the best way to explain it.
Okay.
If that makes sense to you.
I think so. Yeah. It sounds like you have several reasons why you are confident, 90% confident that the God exists. You said that you were raised that way. There's a faith-based component to it. Everything makes sense, and you have a need for something that is way bigger.
You know, I would probably change it 90% because I think yours are either 0 or 100, and I am 100. I just have questions. I have questions for Him. I guess I would say that instead of saying I'm 90% because I have questions. It's not that I question Him, I just have questions for Him.
Oh, okay. There's absolutely no question in your mind that the God exists?
No.
Interesting. Okay, well, we've exceeded the 5 minutes. I would love to keep chatting a few more minutes with you if you want to.
Yeah, sure. It's fine.
All right.
So might do a little quad stretch or two.
Do some quad stretches. That's fine. That's fine. I don't want you to get all locked up. Do you have water?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a bottle in my bag if you need it.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. I was on the trail here earlier today, and this is not a lie. This literally happened. And I met a woman who was a grandmother, and she was with her daughter, and her daughter was holding her granddaughter. Her granddaughter was maybe 4 months old, just a little baby.
Right.
And they told me, I asked them, I was actually interviewing the grandmother, but the lady was off to the side. And she said that the main reason why she was certain that the Christian God existed was because she was raised that way. And I asked them, I said, if this young baby that's here was raised in a different family and taught to believe in a different God, could they be just as confident that their God exists? And I think they really took some time to think about that. What is your perspective on something like that? Is it possible that...
If I was raised differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, like I said before, that's a huge, what's the word for it, foundation of what you believe in, and kind of like where your life leads is how you're raised. I also think you can find God regardless as well, depending on who you bump into along life, because life is really long, if God willing. But yeah, I think what you said is very, very possible. I would say majority of the time, honestly.
Yeah.
Some people
That seems
I've
my
met.
experience too when I talk to people I'll meet Hindus, I'll meet pagans, I'll meet
Exactly.
Christians and Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
If this belief that's in your head
Mm-hmm.
and this 100% certainty that the God exists is based on a foundation of you being raised and taught something, how can you be certain that it's actually true?
That's kind of like how we were talking about earlier. It is very faith-based.
We're going to definitely have to unpack this
Yeah.
faith-based thing.
I don't
Because I think
know.
we keep...
It is pretty broad.
What is a faith-based?
Faith-based is
thing.
that you can't see him, you can't always hear him, you just have to believe that he'll pull through for your favor, and even if it isn't in your favor, that he'll work it into your favor somehow. Because a lot of negative things happen in life, but it really depends on which route you take that. But, gosh, that's another way to put it too. I just think it's something that's inside of you as well, which can go along other religions too, because like being out in nature gives you a lot of peace. Like when I pray, I have a lot of peace, and I feel like I have more direction, and I pause and reflect more. And you know, like I said, it's faith. You can never be kind of like you're thinking about that 90%, but I don't know how else to put it. That's hard. I haven't actually talked that out with somebody before fully, so I don't really have words.
That's fine. Can I ask you one more question, then we'll wrap it up?
Yeah.
I don't want you, again, to lock up here, but... I suppose my question is, if you couldn't use faith to conclude that your God exists, to now the 100% level of confidence,
Mm-hmm.
if a faith-based foundation wasn't an option for you,
Mm-hmm.
where do you think you would be in terms of your confidence that the God existed?
It wouldn't be very high. Because like I said before, he's not literally standing in front of us right now, if that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, you said you can't see him, you can't hear him.
exactly. A lot of people kind of need concrete things in front of them in order to kind of have that 100% faith, or not faith-based, sorry, 100% trust in something, especially something that you base your whole life off of. I feel like if you don't have faith is one of those things where you don't always feel like you're in control, and I feel like as humans we always like to have control. And it's another thing where everyone kind of strays off of their path, but I always find my way back. So
Okay.
Yeah.
May I ask you one more question? I promise this will be the last one, unless you say, please keep asking me questions, but this is my last one. In these conversations that I've had with lots of people, regardless of what God they believe in, and regardless of how they were raised, they will often say that I believe it because of faith. I can't see the God, I can't hear the God, but I believe it. And they are believing in completely different deities. Wildly different.
Yeah.
So my last question to you is faith a reliable way to come to know something to be true if anyone can use it for anything?
Good question. Oh, wow. You got me there. It doesn't change what I believe, but I actually have a really good point. A lot of religions or a lot of faith is faith-based. So maybe another way to ask it.
I beg your pardon?
Is there another way you can ask that?
Is there another way I can ask it? Okay.
Or is it a question, or is it kind of like an open-ended?
We can certainly end it on that point, and if you
Yeah.
want, I know you seem like a thinker,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want to think about it, and we can, and if I never hear from you again, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to ping me, I can give you my email address.
Yeah.
I could rephrase it to leave it with you one more time.
Sure,
You can
yeah.
think about it. I'll give you the card.
Yes.
So I suppose the final question that you can either answer now or just think about would be, if anyone can use faith to conclude that anything is true, why on earth would they want to use that method?
It's a good one. Ponder. I'm definitely a thinker. I'm glad you noticed that.
Oh, I could tell when you came up the chair.
Yeah.
Well, I really like chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is all this for? Like, are you doing, you said research?
It's not so much, I guess so, in a way it's research, but it's certainly not scientific.
Yeah.
I'm just one person in one town.
Yeah.
But there are a few people that are going out and stopping strangers or just having these conversations when they come up. And I'm using something called street epistemology. It's a Socratic dialogue where hopefully you never got the impression that I was telling you anything.
No.
I'm just asking questions to see how you arrived at the belief. And what I find is that oftentimes people have a whole new perspective on a belief that they hold than maybe they've ever had before.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely contact you and think about that question. I always like those kind of questions because just kind of, I don't know, just deep thoughts always good for the soul.
Very nice.
Yeah, especially when you just kind of go through like routine in life. Sometimes you get too busy to really have those moments to reflect back on things like that. And like I said before, that's why I like coming out here at least once or twice a week. So
Honestly, it's one of the reasons I like coming to the trail, because I tend to find people are in a more reflective mood. My preference is to catch them before they go on the trail,
Yeah.
and then they're actually thinking a lot more.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that you will be thinking about it. And I've had a few people email me, like they'll put a reminder on their phone in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and they'll email me with either a clarified definition of faith or an updated confidence level, or they want to meet again, or they're angry at me. You know, like I get the whole gamut sometimes,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but it's rarely like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just very happy to have had the talk. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
What was your name again?
Anthony,
Anthony.
yes,
Okay.
Joanna.
Awesome.
I really
Thanks
enjoyed.
for stopping me.
Okay, you're welcome, and I really
Yeah.
enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, I think it's great what you're doing. It really makes you stop and think why you believe what you believe, and you'll stump a lot of people. You stumped me. I mean, one of those things you really do have to think. Why do I believe what I believe? It's good.
Well, good. I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah. Awesome, Anthony. Well, you're out here on a beautiful day too, so
Yeah.
stay in the shade though if you don't have sunscreen.
I have put on sunscreen, but I do plan on staying in the shade.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, do you like at all, or have you been to before?
Is that a?
Place,
I know somebody else that works there. Do you work there?
I do.
Okay.
If you
Don't
ever
give the
are-
location. Okay, I'll check it out. Do you specialize in a certain area?
Usually footwear or clothing. But,
Okay, I'm in the market for some new shoes.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
have these crazy shoes on. They work.
They look
And these
nice.
crazy socks.
What brand is it?
Solomon.
I've never heard of them before.
You have the Brooks Beasts.
The Beast.
The Beast.
Yeah, I need it for my for my feet that go this
Yeah.
way every time I take a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right, Anthony.
Okay.
Well, have a good day. Okay.
All right. Yeah, you too.
Nice to meet you
See ya.
again.
Bye bye, Joanna.
Bye.
A very pleasant talk there with Joanna. She believes in God. She initially put herself at the 90% level of confidence, and then midway through the conversation clarified it and reassigned her confidence at the 100%. I think that's the first time I've actually had somebody go up on the scale, but I'm not discouraged in any way by that. I think that's great. If these talks help a person get a better understanding of how confident they are in a belief, and they adjust that number, then that's wonderful. But when we started re-examining the reason why she holds the belief, she was raised that way, it was faith-based, it made sense to her when she looks around and sees things, and she said that she needs something that is way bigger. It would have been tempting to dig into that possible need to believe in something that's bigger to cope through life, maybe. I don't know. We could have explored that some more. But she kept talking about this faith-based belief, and it reached the point where we had to unpack what she meant by that. She defined faith as something that you can't see and you can't hear, but you still believe, which is a common definition of faith. I was able to leverage my experience earlier in the day with the grandmother, mother, and baby to drive home the outsider test for faith. It's often surprising how much information somebody will disclose to you. She was very quick to point out that she was gay, and it was one of the reasons why she found herself struggling with her belief a while back, but she came to grips with it. It would be tempting to explore the doctrine and what does it say, and this verse says that it's okay, and this verse says that it's not, and blah, blah, blah. But when you're using street epistemology, it's not at all about that. I want to know why she thinks the belief is true. And we stayed on course, we didn't get distracted by that, and it ended up resulting in a very good conversation. You no doubt noticed the great thinker's pose that she held several times during that conversation. I always think it's a good sign too when the talk is over, but the person is not eager to leave. She was still standing in front of me, she still wanted to talk, she wanted to learn a little bit more about the project that I'm working on. It's always a good thing after the talk concludes when the person seems happy to have had the conversation. She invited me to stop by her place of work, and it signals to me that this approach is gentle and perfect for one-on-one conversations to uncover deeply held beliefs.